Hmm.
First thing first, I just went online and started like Googling and trying to find what information I could. But I am fortunate enough, my daughter's mom quit her job in finance years ago and started studying to be a therapist. And she's now a therapist. And
Wow.
because she is, I asked her if she has any recommendations for me. And I specifically wanted a male Black therapist because I just feel like there are some things that I don't want to have to explain. I want to get straight to it. And the closer I can find somebody who is like with a similar life experience as mine, I felt like that would be the best route to, you know what I mean? And I could be wrong, I don't know, but the therapist I found is a Black male that's in my age range and grew up in Toronto.
Nice.
We have so, and he's Trini, his background is Trini.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
we have so many similarities in our upbringing, in our cultural, like everything, where we grew up, all of that, that like there's a lot that just doesn't even need to be said. I don't need to go into detail about this and that and what this means or whatever. I can just get into the real. And I just felt like that was something that would be good for me. So I was able to speak to her and she recommended him. And that's how I was able to find my therapist. But that was just like my choice. I don't know if that's the best or the worst or if it even matters. But for anybody seeking a therapist, I think that even like a friend of mine, a close friend of mine, he asked me if I wanted to speak to his therapist or if I wanted to speak to his therapist to get a recommendation. I've come to see that that's kind of how it works. Like, if you know somebody who's in therapy or you know a therapist, ask questions, ask if they have any recommendations. And they know you, they can kind of guide you in the direction that makes it more comfortable a process. Because otherwise, just going out and, I mean, same thing like with a medical doctor. Every medical doctor that I've ever had has been some level of referral. I never looked
Yeah.
in on the internet or in a, you know, my mom didn't look in the phone book and find a doctor and be like, okay, that's gonna be a pediatrician. It came recommended. And every step of the way since then, it's been that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a similar path for therapy for, in my
No,
experience.
for sure.
What do you think?
Um, yeah, it took me a couple of therapists to learn that I need to find the right therapist for me. Um,
That's important.
because it's that relatability thing. Because like I've sat in front of, you know, your middle-aged white woman, and I'm hearing what she's saying, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And then I've also sat in front of, your senior white male, and then like there was that tone of, oh well, you need to live like me. Not directly like that, but like
Mm.
I could get an
Yeah.
air of that, and I'm like, this isn't what I'm looking for. And then I can't remember where I read it, but then they're like, yeah, no, interview your therapist before you book something with them. Sit down with them, ask them questions, see if there's that commonality. And then, oh, it was Charlemagne's book, Shook Ones, where he's like, it's important for a person of color to get a therapist who's a person of color. And it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, that makes sense. And so it's just for that purpose of, them being able to understand and you not having to explain. Because once you start having to explain things, you might miss the explanation. And then now this person on the outside still doesn't quite get what it is that you're talking about.